Welcome back to State of Texas. Earlier, we looked at what state leaders are doing in the wake of the deadly shootings in El Paso. One congressman from Texas has ideas for how the federal government should respond. Our Wes Rappaport spoke to Congressman McCaul about ideas to prevent future tragedies.
Thank you again for your time. Want to jump in and start about gun control. What do you see Congress doing with response to the shootings in El Paso, with response to the shooting in Dayton?
I do think that the American people want Congress to act. They want us to do something more. So I am looking at several bills. One I plan to introduce with Senator Cornyn that would create, we have this National Center for Counterterrorism. And it's been set up after 9/11, but it really focuses on international terrorism, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. It doesn't look at domestic terrorism. We're evolving into an age of domestic terrorism. And when I talk to the FBI, they say sometimes now they're more concerned about domestic terrorism than international. Well, I think when we crush the caliphate, so-called caliphate in Iraq and Syria, the threat of international terrorism went down, but now we're seeing this rise in domestic terrorism shootings. Senator Cornyn and I we're developing a bill that would create a center within the FBI that would work in a similar way to the National Center for Counterterrorism in the FBI to provide the intelligence fusion between federal, state, and local. But also a key point is to bring in the tech sector. And we're negotiating with the tech sector right now. When I was chairman of Homeland Security, we had Al-Qaeda, ISIS. I went to Twitter and Facebook and I said, they're putting these messages on the internet to radicalize. It seems to me you have an obligation to identify, when it's a public chatter, identify that to authorities so we can take down these messages. And fortunately, they did. I think that we can do the same thing with domestic terrorism. There are warning signs along the way. This guy had a manifesto in El Paso. We saw a lot of warning signs with the Dayton shooter. And to have a predictive analytics, if you will, algorithms that can identify on public chatter, which is not protected by First Amendment, publicly, to identify that and then turn that over to law enforcement as a preventative measure. At the end of the day, we want to stop the actor from doing what they're getting ready to do. And it seems to me that what we did working with Twitter and Facebook on Al-Qaeda could also work with respect to domestic terrorism.
Real quick to follow up question there. So would you support a universal background check or red flag laws? Where do you land there?
Yeah, and we won't look at all those specific legislation, but I think certainly I think the red flag law is basically a grant program to let the states develop red flags. What I just talked to you about, predictive analytics, is kind of a red flag that would raise flags about a certain individual and then call it to the attention of law enforcement. So I think that's, I think anyone who purchases a firearm in this country should go through a background check. This is bottom line. Nobody should be able to buy a firearm. I used to prosecute federal firearm cases in Austin at the U.S. Attorney's Office here, and so I've seen the abuses. I've seen these criminals that are carrying weapons, and on the federal side, the penalties are much stiffer than they are at the state side. So when I developed the Texas Exile program, it was to push more gun cases from the DA's office to the U.S. Attorney's Office, where they would get maximum punishment for possessing a firearm. I will say in about 80% of the cases I prosecuted, the firearm was stolen. It was not purchased legally. Now, having said that, the two firearms in these two, El Paso and Dayton, were purchased legally, so we have to look at that whole, and mental health. You can't disregard mental health. We have to have warning signs about mental health. And I think it's not just government that has a responsibility, it's the family that has a responsibility, it's a classmate in the school that has a responsibility, it's the teacher. If you see something, say something. If you see something online that doesn't look good, doesn't make sense, to report that. And all these cases, whether it be the Boston bombing to Austin bombing to El Paso to Dayton, there are always warning signs along the way that they were picked up, but they were never reported. And then it could have been stopped. And that's what we need.
McCaul represents Congressional District 10. The boundary stretched from Austin east into the suburbs of Houston. It's a district Democrats hope to flip in 2020. 3 Democrats are vying to challenge McCaul, including Mike Siegel. He was the nominee in 2018. Siegel lost to McCaul by 4 percentage points. 2 other candidates are running for the Democratic nomination. Shannon Hutchison is a lawyer. Pritesh Gandhi is a primary care physician. All of the District 10 candidates call Austin home. Congressman McCaul used to lead the House Committee on Homeland Security. Next month, he'll share his expertise on the topic at the Texas Tribune Festival. It's one part of the 3-day event focused on Texas politics. Speakers include candidates, city leaders, and others who shape the policies that affect your life. We're one of the media partners for the Trib Fest, and it's happening on September 26th through the 28th in downtown Austin. Check out #TribFest19 for more information.
We plowed a lot of ground, and we got off to what we consider to be a good start.
A Texas task force begins the search for solutions after the shooting in El Paso. But what comes next? We turn to our panel for perspective ahead on State of Texas.